Hi, in this video today we're going to be working on a 2001 Jeep Wrangler. It's got the 4-liter in there. It's got a sloppy steering wheel. One of the U-joints is loose in the steering shaft, and we're going to replace that. I've already replaced the lower one, and now I'm going to be doing the upper one. I have a universal Borgeson joint here. I already measured what we have in the vehicle, and this should work. It's a 3/4 inch double D by 3/4 inch smooth round. This has a square shaft, but the measurements show that I should be able to make this work. If it can slide on there nice and snug, we'll give it a good weld and it should be as strong as ever and it'll outlast the original. So let's dive in. All right, I'll take you on a journey here. Try to take a look and see if you can see that U-joint right down there. That is the upper one, if we can focus. Yeah, that's the upper one. It's pretty sloppy. So what we're gonna do is take that bolt out, slide it off, and we'll cut that old piece off and clean it up and just slide the new one on. All right, so we'll grab a 1/2 inch socket and some extensions here. We'll reach down in there to get that out. I had this off just the other day, so it should be able to slide off. Put that in the magnet tray. Yep, slid right off. All right, so to access this, I'm actually going to take this out of the truck. So before I do that, I'm going to mark where the steering wheel is because I got to line that steering shaft up. And to do that, I just watched a video that someone sent me this morning. They put a zip tie on the front and they were actually doing this to measure or to locate the centering when they're adjusting the drag link or tie rod, whatever you want to call it. So I put a mark on the dash, put some blue tape there. That's where it's going to be centered. So I'm going to take the steering shaft out. We're going to go up underneath here and let's see if we can find it. So there's the other end. We're just going to take that bolt out and we'll take the shaft out and put it on the bench and we'll cut it apart. All right, here it is on the bench. We have that U-joint. That's the one we're going to replace. There is another one at this end at the steering shaft itself. That one's still fine. We're just going to wipe that off and get all the dust off of it. But so this is the shaft. We're going to cut this here and we'll clean this up and we will put this on there. And it's important to make sure that this U-joint is lined up or aligned properly with this one over here. So we're going to do our best to get that all squared up. We may even put it back in the vehicle and tack it in the vehicle and then pull it back out and do our final weld. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I think a hacksaw is the thinnest. I could probably cut that. I want to keep as much material on there as possible. So I'm going to try using the hacksaw on this and we'll see how it goes. And when I say hacksaw, I mean Sawzall. Going quite well. It's pretty soft. It is a solid shaft, but it is soft. All right. Okay, so it's important to note that when I measured this, I should have spent a little bit more time. Maybe I should have taken it out of the vehicle. But this end is 3/4 inch double D as well. So you can see that I have the double D end. It slides on there quite nicely. And you could technically buy a U-joint that's double D on both ends, and then you could clamp it down. You probably wouldn't need a welder. However, if you slide this shaft all the way out, you're going to be at the very end of its limit, and so if you were to slide this all the way in, you may not reach all the way on this end. So I'm not going to be sliding this all the way in. I'm only going to be going in about that far, just far enough to make sure that it's in there. I'm going to weld it all the way around and we should be fine. All right, so I got the whole thing clamped to the bench. There it's solid and it's level. Still clamped, and so you can see that I'm going to just fit this tight up against there. And now to line this up, I'm going to use my micrometer and just eyeball it and hope for the best. I think we'll be fine. All right, so I got that in there. You can see the joint connected. I put this on up in here. I actually tightened that one down to make sure it's good. And you can also see up here my little zip tie. It's relatively close. I don't have the bottom one tightened, so it's not completely accurate. You wouldn't say hi to little Franklin. Little Frank. And so now I'm going to take that back out and weld it all up. All right, there it's all welded up. It isn't the prettiest weld, but it definitely will hold. I'm gonna put a little bit of paint on there so it don't rust. After getting it all cleaned up, some wax and grease remover. I'm just gonna shoot it with a little bit of 2X Ultra Cover paint primer in our little makeshift paint booth. And we're back for a second coat. That should definitely help keep it from rusting. I'll let it sit a little bit longer and we'll do one last coat just for good measure. All right, so here's the shaft. We're gonna go back inside with it. We got it all set up. Just gonna slide through the hole and reattach it to the steering column. Make sure you go back and hand tighten that. All right, you gotta get this grommet or bezel back in there, which technically you gotta do from the other side now that I'm remembering. Slide that shaft over the other shaft, and just like that, it's pretty much back together. You can see, maybe you can see. There it is. So we're gonna use the Allen wrench, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna tighten both of those down. Now this one has a slot in there that this set screw on the side will actually sit in. It's where the original, maybe you can see that right here, there's a little groove. So we're going to try to get it in that groove. That's going to get snugged down that direction, and already it feels really tight, so this is a good sign. Then there's one on the top, which is on the flat. We'll snug that one down as well. And then there's these jam nuts that we need to tighten down. So I'm going to grab a different Allen and a wrench. Those are 1/2 inch, I believe. That one seems pretty tight. Okay, so we're back in the truck. And now, before, when I was to do this test, I could move the steering wheel from here all the way to here. if I had it in the middle, and just by going like this with my hand. Now when I do that, it's nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. And the steering shaft is back to new. So you should be good. The only thing we need to do now is drive it and make sure the steering wheel is actually straight. And if it's not straight, we just need to make an adjustment underneath the vehicle. And that would be this. So this is your steering gear. 1 second. Okay, so here's your steering gear, and this link is connected to the pitman arm. And this, if you loosen those 2 bolts and turn that, you can adjust your steering wheel left and right. If you adjust this other one, you will be adjusting your toe, and you don't want to do that unless you're actually checking the alignment with the machine, or if you're just trying to get it close with a tape measure. All right, well, there you have it, guys. The only thing that I would change is I would get a different U-joint. I would get the 3/4 inch double D on both ends, and then it would fit tighter on the steering shaft portion. But it doesn't really matter. You're gonna weld it, it'll be fine. If you're not gonna weld it, I think there was enough room where if you're cutting it close enough, you can slide that shaft out far enough and tighten it down and still have enough room to work with. If you're going to be off-roading your vehicle, though, I would definitely weld it. I'm not an expert, but I think it could loosen up, or maybe, you know, if you're really going aggressive with the steering, if you're going rock crawling or something, definitely don't want to just use those little set screws. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but for a daily driver, that's what mostly this thing is for. It would be fine. But there you go. Hopefully this helped you, and you learned something. I learned something. I just try to do it and make it work and hope for the best. But anyways, thanks for watching.